days around.
Hello and welcome to the Tottenham America channel. Today I will be rating every player's performance from Tottenham Hotspur's 1-0 win over Crystal Palace as Harry Kane headed in the winning goal in the just before halftime off of a Pedro Porro cross to give Tottenham all 3 points and their first win in the Premier League in 4 games. We'll start with goalkeeper Fraser Forster, who is the replacement for Hugo Lloris as he recovers from a hip injury. I'm going to give Fraser Forster a 7.5. I thought he made some excellent saves today, very commanding in the box. Did get a yellow card after a little scrap with Zaha. His distribution was on point today, very, very well managed under pressure. And some of his high claims were excellent. But overall, just a really good performance from the English goalkeeper in goal. I think right now on his game, he's much better than Lloris. You get much more, as a Spurs fan, you get much more of a sense of calmness and safety with seeing Fraser Forster in goal. He's just a little more trustable right now than Hugo Lloris is, and I'm glad he's there. Moving into our back three, which was a change-up from the last game. Notably, Ryan Mason finally took out Eric Dyer after about 3 terrible performances in a row. And we saw Emerson Royal and Ben Davies make their returns to the starting 11. We'll start with Emerson Royal. I'm going to give him a 7.5. He slotted into a right center-back position for most of the game today, occasionally going to a right full-back position. But overall, he was very, very good in that new position for him. He's always been more of a defensively minded wingback. So playing him to his strengths at a right center back or right fullback position is probably the way to go with Emerson, especially when we have Porro on the form that he is in. I just think Emerson Royal, to fit him in there and still get the best out of him, he's a very, very versatile player at that right back position. And his participation in that back three today was a big reason of why we got a clean sheet. He was excellent. His partner was probably even better. Cristian Romero, I'm going to give Cristian Romero an 8. He was unbelievable today. The amount of tackles he was making was ridiculous. He did not let anything or anyone get past him. And he also actually hit the woodwork once early in the match, 17th minute, I believe, off of a corner. His header went right onto the woodwork. His long balls were also very nice today. His long passes over the top are absolutely beautiful. And they found Son, I believe, once or twice. One of the times I know Son latched onto it excellently, perfectly timed run, but Johnston made a very, very good save. But Romero had probably his best performance of the season, and it shows you what happens when he's surrounded by defenders who are not Eric Dyer or Davinson Sanchez and have a little more defensive ability, because when you're surrounded by Emerson Royal, Clement Lenglet, they're going to be better defenders than the two I just mentioned. So, of course, Romero's going to have a better performance, and today he had a very, very good performance. Undoubtedly the best player on the pitch, I think, in my opinion. His center back, the last center back of the three, was Clement Lenglet, who went off in the 88th minute due to a shoulder injury. I'm going to give him a 7.5. He was very, very good today. Very industrious. His long passes, just like Guti, were very, very good over the top. And honestly, for a while, he was probably our most creative player. He was the one who wanted to get forward, probably, I think, early in the first half before Pedro Porro really kickstarted. So Clement Lenglet was very good. He was very unlucky to get that injury. I believe Zaha did this quick turn and Lenglet basically slipped, I believe, on the ground. So instead of just letting him run past, he kind of dived into him like a rugby tackle, and it was either a hyperextension of the shoulder or it could even be a dislocation, although he did not look like he was in too much pain. So I don't think it was a dislocation. I hope not, because if Clement Lenglet does go out of our side, then that means we have to return to Eric Dyer, and that would not be a very welcome replacement. But Clement Lenglet was very good today, and I just don't know why he didn't replace Dyer earlier. I don't know if he's been injured for a bit, although, no, he has played regularly. I just think he just wasn't being picked because, I don't know, I thought Lenglet was very good today, and he should be basically, as long as he's fit, a staple in our back three for the rest of the season. We'll move into our wingbacks now, starting with Pedro Porro. I'm going to give Pedro Porro a 7.5, a delicious assist for Harry Kane's header with a beautiful dinked cross to the back post. Most of his game was excellent today. He was not required to defend much because Emerson Royal was right behind him, providing a little bit of defensive solidarity. So Pedro Porro just had to do very minimal defensive work. This allowed him the license to go forward. And that came off with an effect because he created 4 chances, 2 big chances, 2 shots, one of them on goal, parried away by Johnston, and an excellent assist from the cross onto Harry Kane's head. So a very welcome change there. And Pedro Porro has been in some good form recently. Liverpool, he was really good. He got a goal at Man United and then an assist today. So he's in very, very good form, and it's crazy to think that some of our fans wrote him off after about 5 minutes in a Spurs shirt, because I think it's very, very important that most of our new signings often take a game or two to settle in. We saw that with Bentancur, notably with Kulusevski. It took him about 3 games to settle in, substitute appearances. Then he got a goal on his first start and an assist. So Pedro Porro, good performance today. Our other wingback was Ben Davies, who came into the side after an injury. I'm going to give Ben Davies a 7. I don't think he was as good as the rest of his defenders, but he was undoubtedly very, very good defensively, provided a lot of solidarity back there, and it's an experience that we haven't seen in a while, especially at our left wing back. We haven't seen very much defensive solidness because we have Perisic in and out. But I think this back 5 was very, very good. A very good formation pick from Ryan Mason. And Ben Davies was the usual performance, just very calm, composed, and getting his tackles in, not making any big mistakes, although he was shaky at the start of the game, misfacing passes. He got better as the game went on. We'll move into midfield now, starting with Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. I gave Hojbjerg a 5.5. I thought he had a very shaky first half, but grew into his role a little bit in the second. Definitely a better performance than he's had recently, and I guess he moved the ball around better in the second half than the first. First, he was very slow, not linking up that defense and attack well enough, and that really proved for a lot of our possession to be defensive-based, not a lot in the front 3. So I thought that change was very welcome in the second half in his form, and he improved a lot in the second half. Our other midfielder was Oliver Skipp. I'm going to give him a 5. He's definitely this is probably his poorest performance in a while. He just was not able to get a pass off at all today, made a lot of risky mistakes, and just didn't look very settled today. Gave away a couple of fouls in needless areas, and we almost conceded goals from those free kicks, but of course Cristian Romero and the guys back there were excellent defensively, so that we were able to keep it out. But it was just a bit of an off day for Skipp, and now with Bissouma back, I think his position is a little threatened. We will see, I think, some rotation there, as long as Bissouma, is fit and ready to play a full game. So it'll be interesting to see how that midfield pans out, because we know that Hojbjerg is currently getting, run through the grinders. He always looks absolutely exhausted after every game, and Skipp didn't have the greatest performance today. So it'll be interesting to see how our midfield goes from here. Our front 3/front 2, it depends on which formation we were playing, consisted of Richarlison, Kane, and Son. Our first, Richarlison, I'm going to give him a 6. I thought he was making a lot of good runs today, very industrious, but just not, at times, I think, good enough. I think there were points where he could have there were times where he just wasn't really taking advantage of the possession that he had, the way that Kane and Son were. I felt that they were using the ball much better than Richarlison was. But then there were also points when Richarlison made excellent runs through the defense, and none of our midfielders or wingbacks could find him. So I feel like a lot of wasted opportunities went that way. It was definitely, he put in the effort today. I just don't think that it was really paying off for him. So that was a thing to note for Richarlison. Not a bad performance, just not one of any particular, usage. But in striker position, we had our goal scorer and basically record maker, Harry Kane. I give him an 8. Harry Kane did excellently today, linking up with everyone, drew way too many fouls from Crystal Palace players today. He won, I'd say, upwards of 3 or 4 fouls today. Definitely the most fouled player, I think, on the team. Took his goal excellently, perfect header into the bottom left corner past the goalkeeper. Johnston was really nowhere in the reach. And this now cements his place as the second highest all-time leading Premier League goal scorer. He has overtaken Wayne Rooney, who is on 208. Harry Kane is on 209. And he is only surpassed by the great Alan Shearer, who played for Newcastle and Blackburn Rovers. He is on 260 goals in the Premier League, I believe. So Harry Kane's got a long way away, so that will be a thing to note for his future. If we don't get European football, Harry Kane probably won't leave the Premier League, as he'll be chasing that record goal scorer award in the Premier League. So that'll be something of note. But regardless, he's now the second highest all-time leading Premier League goal scorer, and basically, I think one of the greatest players this Premier League has ever seen, because I believe he's played about 120 or 130 games less than Alan Shearer and any of those guys. So he's played a lot less than Wayne Rooney or Alan Shearer. So his goal rate is much quicker than any of those two. He could go, if he stays in the Premier League, I think he'll be scoring a lot more than Alan Shearer. But it all depends on where he goes from here. And our last player on the team sheet was Heung-min Son. I'm going to give him a 7.5. He's finally returning to the Son that we knew at the end of last season. He's making those line-breaking runs. He's playing on the shoulder of defenders. And the most important thing is he's not playing with his back to goal anymore. He's facing goal. He's running at the goal. He's making those dribbles that we haven't seen for so long. And it's almost like the manager who got Son the golden boot last season, Antonio Conte, was holding Son back this season. And as soon as he was free of that, he has just turned on the afterburners, and Son has been a different class today. He did have the attempt at goal. He rounded Johnston for his only attempt on goal, but Johnston recovered excellently and made a really, really good save. So that's really his only big chance. I think his most important contribution today, not only his dribbles, but his defensive contribution. He would be one of the players to hang back on our attacking corners, and Palace would clear it, and Eze and Ayew, Zaha, and Olise would start a counterattack, but Son would always be the first to dart back and stop the attack, and it was really, really awesome, the work rate that he put in today. And it was a well-deserved substitution in the 89th minute to come off for, I believe it was Danjuma today. But even though no goals, no assists, but a really, really good performance from Heung-min Son. But that's it for our player ratings for Tottenham's win against Crystal Palace at home in the Premier League to boost them up to 6th place in the Premier League. A much, much needed 3 points. If you enjoyed and want to see more Spurs content, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you'd like to see and who your player of the match was. And until next time, come on you Spurs!